I found a shoebox in my father's closet after he died, and it contained a secret that destroyed my family. My father was a quiet man. He worked at a hardware store for 42 years, came home at exactly 5:30 every evening, and spent his weekends fixing things around the house that were never broken. He didn't drink, didn't yell, didn't talk much at all. I loved him, but I never really knew him. When he died of a heart attack last March, I was the one who had to clean out his house. My mother had passed 5 years earlier, and I'm an only child. The responsibility fell entirely on me. I spent 3 weeks sorting through a lifetime of accumulated objects, old tax returns, yellowed newspapers, tools organized with obsessive precision, sweaters my mother had knitted before her hands gave out. It was sad, but not surprising. Everything was exactly as I expected, until I found the shoebox. It was tucked behind a loose panel in the back of his closet, a hiding spot I only discovered because I was tearing out the shelving to repaint the walls. The box was an old Nike container, the cardboard soft with age. Inside were photographs. Dozens of them. All of the same woman. She was beautiful, with dark curly hair and a smile that seemed to radiate warmth. In some photos she was alone, standing in front of landmarks I didn't recognize. In others, she was holding a baby. In a few, she was standing next to my father, his arm around her waist. His expression one of pure, unguarded happiness. An expression I had never seen on his face in my entire life. On the back of one photo, in my father's handwriting, was a name. Clara, 1987. And beneath it, a single word that made my hands tremble. Always. I confronted my aunt, my father's younger sister, the only surviving relative from his generation. I showed her the photos and demanded to know who Clara was. My aunt looked at the images and her face went pale. She sat down heavily at her kitchen table and told me everything. My father had been engaged before he met my mother. Her name was Clara Reyes. She was a nurse, an immigrant from the Philippines, and by all accounts the love of my father's life. They met in 1985 when he was 26 and she was 24. They dated for 2 years, got engaged, and planned a wedding for the spring of 1988. Then, in the fall of 1987, Clara vanished. She left for work one morning and never came home. The police investigated. They searched her apartment, interviewed her coworkers, dragged the river. Nothing. No body, no clues, no answers. The case went cold. My father was devastated. He spent months looking for her, spending money he didn't have on private investigators, plastering the city with missing posters. Eventually, his family convinced him to move on. He met my mother a year later. They married in 1990. I was born in 1992. But here is where the story turned dark. My aunt, her voice trembling, told me something that made my blood run cold. 2 weeks before Clara disappeared, she had confided in a friend that she was pregnant. My father was the father. She was going to tell him on the night she vanished. She never got the chance. I sat in my aunt's kitchen, staring at the photo of Clara holding a baby, and I realized the baby in the picture was not just any baby. The timeline didn't add up for the child to be my father's unless Clara had given birth before she disappeared, which meant the baby in the photo was not Clara's child. It was someone else's. I asked my aunt whose baby it was. She didn't know. She had never seen the photo before. She didn't know Clara was holding a child in any of these images. Neither did the police. My father had never shared these photos.